Hello everybody. This is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we're going to put together something that I have actually never done before. So I had a client come in and she asked that I make a Christmas wreath out of a rope. So her children do rodeo and they rope, and so this is an old rope that she wanted us to turn into a Christmas wreath. So what I think I'm going to do, again, this is something I've never done before. So I think we are going to take this rope and we are going to zip tie it up here at the top, just so that it holds it all together as if it was a wreath. So I'm going to take just a white zip tie or clear zip tie that I picked up from our local hardware store, and I'm going to zip tie that rope together just so that it holds together. So I just took that zip tie and I held that rope together. Therefore now it is going to be a wreath. So what I chose, she wanted something fairly simple, nothing too elaborate. So I'm going to set this to the side and we're going to make a little bit of a swag out of some Christmas picks. So this is just an evergreen pick, artificial. Be sure to take your tags off, it's always important. So I have 4 of these picks, okay? And what I thought I would do is take them and lay them all together. So I'm going to take my first 2, which are fairly short, and I am going to put them end to end, just like this. And then the next 2, I'm going to take those and just kind of layer it. Leave those a little bit longer and just kind of layer it so that we extend that greenery. Just like that. Okay? So I'm going to take those and lay them right on top of my rope. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my 2 longer pieces. And I am going to kind of bend them so they almost look like they're just coming around just like a regular wreath would, okay? And I am going to take those 2 longer stems and just kind of bend them and mold them to be where I'd like them to be. Now I'm going to take another zip tie and I'm going to just zip tie those 2 pieces into place. So I find sometimes it's just easier just to zip tie as you go. Now I'm not going to glue them because I really don't have anything to hold them into place with if I glued them. So I'm just going to zip tie them as tightly as possible. And I'm going to do that in 2 separate places for security, just to make sure they're going to stay where I want them. Now this is going to make it very easy to be able to pull these off if they decide they'd like to. So I zip tied those into place. Okay? The wonderful part about these picks is they're very pliable. They are on wire, so they move very easily. So I can adjust them as I need to. Next I'm going to take the next 2 pieces. Alright, so I've added the first 2 pieces and now we're just going to take the second 2 pieces and layer it on top. So we're just kind of laying that right over the first piece, and then we'll take the second one. These have been trimmed up a little bit, and so it works really well to not have to trim up those stems. But if you need to, go ahead and take you some good wire cutters and trim up those stems. So I just laid those right on top, just like that. I'm going to take a few more zip ties and zip tie those 2 into place. Alright. And be sure, guys, that you pull that as tight as you can. We don't want them to come loose. We want them to stay in place. And so be sure to zip tie them as tight as you can. The wonderful part about all of this greenery, though, is that it is on that wire base. And so you can really twist and turn. Now, that's already pretty. But because I've got it hung, now what I can do is just kind of bend and manipulate this foliage to look a little more like a wreath. So see how it just bends? And go ahead and fluff it up. It's completely okay that you add a little bit of fluff. Okay, so our next thing is she wanted a pretty ribbon. So I chose this really pretty traditional plaid. It does have a metallic thread, so it has a little bit of gold. I love a traditional Christmas plaid. Honestly, I don't know that there's anything much prettier than a traditional Christmas plaid. So I'm gonna tie a pretty bow. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a center loop. I'm going to do a really traditional bow here. So I'm going to take and make a center loop with this ribbon. Now this is a 2.5 inch wired ribbon. It is on our website. And we have a special running right now on our website. If you put in Deck the Halls into the promo code, it is going to give you 10% off all of our ribbon on our site. So I'm taking that ribbon and I am going to make a center loop. So I'm taking the end and I'm rolling it right over. Just to make a little roll, just a little center loop. I'm going to make a twist and a loop, a twist, a loop, and you're going to put as many loops as you would like in this bow. I think I'm probably gonna put, I don't even know how much ribbon. I'm gonna make it as big as my ribbon will allow. Probably 4 loops on each side, but not too large. Twist, a loop. Yes, it's gonna have 4 loops on each side. Again, it is so nice that this is wired ribbon, because I can, if it gets squashed or any of the things, you can easily fluff that bow up. And it's really hardy, so it will last several years because of that wire. Okay, I'm going to take this long tail here and I'm going to tuck it right under that finger, so this is going to make tails. I'm going to take my, I have wrapped this wire with florist, with corsage tape. I'm going to run that right through that loop and bend that down and tie off that bow with that wire. Okay, and then I'm going to fluff that bow. Now guys, if you struggle hand tying a bow, we do have a wonderful wooden bow maker that makes tying bows so much easier. So I cut my tails. So I cut 2 tails, and now what I'm going to do is finish those off with a dovetail cut. So I'm just giving it just a little V. Now you don't have to necessarily do that if you don't want to, but it's just a good little finish. All right, so there's our pretty bow. I'm going to tuck that bow right there in the center of this wreath. So I'm taking my wire and coming all the way around that wreath, and I am twisting that wire really tightly. Now, when you wrapped that wire with a little bit of that corsage tape, you are going to find that it grips really well, and it's not going to rust. It helps coat that wire so that it doesn't leave a rust spot. And then what I'm doing is I took my tails, instead of hanging them down, I took them and put them over the greenery. Just like that. So see how simple and easy this wreath was to make just by using 4 greenery picks and a pretty bow. Again, I just took and zip tied everything into place on the back of this rope. And now what I'm going to do with my little extra wire is I am going to make a little hanger with that wire. So I'm just going to wrap that around each other and make that just a simple little hanger, just like that, just a little eye hook. And that will very easily hang on a door or wherever they would like it to go. Very simple, very easy, but very pretty. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. If you have any questions about how we put this together or any questions about how we do anything at our shop, you know you can always ask. You can drop that right here in the comments, or you can send us a message over on Facebook. If you have not already followed us over on Facebook, be sure to check us out over there. We go live every single day doing videos of different floral tutorials, all the things. We'd love to have you join us. Do me a great big favor, give us a thumbs up if you liked this video, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you'll hit that little bell, you'll get notifications for when we have a new video. Guys, have a great day.